Hey guys, CY here, back with another racing update. And you know what? We only got a couple more days until the second half of the F1 season. And honestly, you know what? Thank God. Sundays without F1, overrated. I miss it. I don't care about sleep. I want to watch racing. And we only have a couple more days until it happens. We'll be in the Netherlands for the next race. So I'll wait until next week to tease what I expect to see on track for that race, who I expect to see on the podium, and how the weekend might unfold. But there's still a lot of questions headed into that race that are still not answered. Who's going to take that second seat at Mercedes? RB, are they going to re-sign Ricardo? We talked about that last week. Sauber and Alpine also have open seats, and there's really no clues on who's going to fill them. So it's going to be a drama-filled weekend headed into the second half, and I just expect the second half of the season is going to be one of the most wild ones yet. So looking forward to, you know what, Unc, send your DVR, okay? Get ready for it. We gotta get prepped. And I was trying to find out how to make this like seamless transition between F1 and then the NASCAR news I wanted to talk about. So I'll make a little fun fact, gather around everybody. Daniel Suarez is a NASCAR driver. His fiance, Julia Piquet. Does that name sound familiar to my F1 fans? It should, because it's Nelson Piquet's daughter, Formula One world champion, also the father of Kelly Piquet, who is the longtime girlfriend of Max Verstappen. So it's just a racing family. Daniel Suarez and Julia have been engaged just, I think, months now. Can you imagine that wedding? It's just gonna be racing legends all in the same place. I wonder if they'll invite Lewis Hamilton. Probably not. But headed into the drama of NASCAR. Last weekend in Richmond, they took a little bit of a break, came back for a crazy race. It ends up in the last lap. It's overtime, shocker. And Austin Dillon takes out Joey Logano, who was leading the race in that final lap. Takes him out in just literally seconds until they cross the finish line. Taps the back. He sends Joey spinning out into the wall. He trips up Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin goes off. Drama, okay? Austin Dillon wins a race for the first time in, I think, 68 wins or 68 races. It's been a long time. Last win was 2022. So it's been quite some time for Austin to win a race. But did he do it fairly? That's the drama and the question that have been out there. Social media went crazy after this win. It truly felt like you were watching a video game unfold. Now, Joey, rightfully so, was frustrated, but there was actually some more controversy about how Joey handled this loss than how Austin handled winning. Joey ends up in pit lane. He revs his engine right in front of Dillon's, pit area. There are kids on track. There were a lot of people on pit road, which felt a little bit unsafe, but Joey kind of takes it into his own hands, revs up his engine, and I just don't feel like that was a super safe move, and that seems to be the agreement of a lot of people on social. So he was at risk of maybe receiving a penalty for his actions after that loss. Now, a tough loss. There's a lot of discussion around it. Did Austin win fairly? Is this really the way to reserve a playoff spot? They're headed into, really a challenging part of the season where a lot of key decisions really lead to the outcome of how the rest of the season might play out. And so if I may quote Austin Dillon, I hate to do that, but sometimes you have to do it, Dillon said. And that's how I feel about getting an ice cold McDonald's Diet Coke. You know what I mean? Like, you hate to do it, but you sometimes have to do. So that's how Austin describes his win. I don't know. We'll see. Joey was pissed. I think there's a lot of tension there on track, but it makes for good racing. The fans had a lot of fun with it. Social media went crazy. It definitely gave some key clips to follow on social media. So whether you're a NASCAR fan or not, you could buy into the craziness that these races really finish in sometimes, especially in an overtime. The stress and the pressure is high and exhaustion sets in. So a lot more races for the NASCAR season to complete, much like F1. IndyCar's back this weekend as well. But you know what? I don't have a lot of F1 news. I don't have a lot of NASCAR news. So I wanted to spend a little time and give a shout out to two key people, or key groups, if you will, that I think are really doing incredible things in racing. And I just don't think they get the love they deserve from me or from the show. I gotta highlight them. I don't think I've mentioned them before. The first are the girls behind the podcast and social media page, the For the Girls. They actually just went through a full rebrand, so they're the Paddock project now. Now, if you are new to F1, you're a veteran in F1, you followed it for years, it doesn't matter. They have an incredible community that actually meets up at races. They've been invited to do some incredible interviews. Their hard work absolutely has paid off. They so deserve it. They've done interviews with Logan. I saw one with Albon the other day. Oscar Piastri, I think they kind of called his come up of the last couple of years, or really races, and I really enjoyed following them. So you guys have to absolutely check them out. They're the Paddock Project now on Instagram. They also have an incredible Discord community I joined recently, and I just love following Formula One fans who are maybe even more obsessed than I am. I don't know. You should see some of the names in there. Everyone comes up with a really fun, unique username. They also have a fantasy game that they play, which I think is also bad. I'm a fantasy football player, but I've not yet tapped into F1, which feels insane. I should absolutely do that. So anyway, Paddock Project, you should absolutely give them a follow. But I also wanted to shout out a female driver. I've talked about a couple over the last couple of episodes where I love to highlight some of the wins that are happening in like the F1 Academy. But I want to give a shout out to the first Arab American driver, Toni Breidinger. She is a truck driver in NASCAR. And you know what? I actually have a signed Hot Wheels car from her. Love to support my girl. I actually got to meet her randomly in Daytona. And I admittedly didn't even know who she was. She was so lovely. We were washing our hands in the bathroom and I was like, you know what? That's a good looking suit you have. How do they make sure it fits you so well? It looks so chic. And she looked at me like they're custom made for me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought to myself, she's a driver and I don't know her and I should. So I dug deep. She was lovely in person, but she's way cooler online. She's a model. If you've been to Raising Cane's lately, you've probably seen her face on some of the advertisements. She does a lot of promotional stuff. She's highly commercial because I think she is exciting to, for me, a female fan. She's a younger driver. I love the diversity element as well. She's also a twin. Her sister's a car engineer. I just learned that not too long ago. So she does incredible things on track, off track. She's a big advocate for women in STEM, and I freaking love her. So you guys have to follow Toni on NASCAR. She's a truck driver. You got to check her out, but also just follow her page. She has a lot of exciting projects in the works, and I just love following along for it. Shout out to my girls, shout out to the Paddock Project, and I have to give a huge shout out to Away We Go is another F1 blog that I love to follow. If I'm curious about what's coming up for the race week, if I'm curious about F1 history, especially from an American fan's perspective, awaywego.com is a great place, but amazing to follow on Instagram. They're super active and, giving me the most up-to-date information. So follow those guys. I love them. Noonish guys, I love you. Sorry I couldn't be there. I can't wait to be back next week and to jump into the second half of the Formula One season. So I'm Christiana Yebra. You can call me CY. I'll see you guys soon.